you virtually.
Thanks for having me.
No, I'm so glad. Actually, I'm actually very humbled that you're willing to come on my live to discuss all your knowledge. I've been blabbing about you and saying how you're like actually someone that everybody has to listen to during this period specifically.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if I'm that smart or I have that much information, but hopefully I can help however I can.
I've been following you for almost a year now. And honestly, you urged me to go online to actually have a website. I'm someone I'm an amateur when it comes to like technology. I'm very old school. I still like writing handwritten notes. Although I'm 37, so I should be more, tech friendly. But really, like you made me, I launched my website. I actually launched a website, but I was so lazy to operate it. And I operated it just this month with COVID. So I think a lot of us wanted to like get to know you more. I'm from Saudi Arabia. I know you're in the States, and a lot of us want to know more about you. And I want you to start by introducing yourself. Who is Neil? How you started your career, and I want you to like talk about yourself, how you represent yourself. I'm not gonna like just go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So as you mentioned, my name's Neil Patel. I'm a marketer and entrepreneur. I've been helping companies get more traffic over the years, and we do like the marketing for like companies like the Adobes and the Microsofts and the Googles of the world. And yeah, I've spent a lot of time just blogging, creating content, helping entrepreneurs and people get more traffic to their websites. And over the years, I've done a handful of companies, and my latest one is my ad agency called Neil Patel Digital. Funny enough, we don't have a presence in the Middle East yet, but we were thinking about popping up an office in the UAE.
I actually think it's time for Saudi. We have the biggest population. We're 30, by the way, and we have a very young, we have a very, how can you say, a young age group. Around 70% is between 16 to 25, and they're all very big on social media and very big on using like Snapchat. Like Snapchat is very big here, by the way, as well.
I don't know. I know Twitter is big there. Twitter is huge.
Twitter is huge, and also Snapchat. You'd be so surprised. And I really do think that this is actually the biggest market here. So I know most people set up in Dubai, but they're mostly foreigners. But like here, it's actually, you're really working. It's enough to actually just work here, because most of the businesses that you're going to actually target are going to be trying to target companies here, in my opinion. And now it's much more easy to come to Saudi, getting the visas, the whole process. It changed so much the past 3 years,
See, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, the reason most of us go to UAE first is it's easier for us to get set up.
And no, now it's so much easier, because here you actually can get now the visa upon arrival as a tourist. Everything changed the past 2 years. Like it's a totally...
No, for a company to get set up with offices, bank accounts.
Yeah, no, that's much easier in the UAE still. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So I wanted tell me more about you. Like I know you're a best-selling author. I follow you on YouTube so much. You give so much advice on how to grow your Instagram page, how to basically like not pay on ads on. You were saying the other day, I was watching something. You were saying don't spend your money on ads because they have to be studied. So tell me more about that.
So here's the thing with ads. If you spend money on ads, you may get sales, you may get traffic, but the moment you stop spending money on ads, you stop getting sales. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't spend money on ads. If you can spend $1 and you make $2, that's great. But the mistake that most people have is they put all their effort into ads when they continually rise over time. So if it wasn't for COVID-19 or coronavirus, ads during this period have gone down in cost, but typically year over year ads have always gone up. Even during a recession in 2008 in the US, so years ago, Google ad costs still rose. So if you think about advertising continually rising, yes, although you can do it, you need to think about how can you attract people, whether it's from, I do apologize for my noise, my baby girl is.
All right, don't worry.
So with that, you need to figure out, all right, how can I build that audience? How can I build that community? How can I keep building that brand so people keep coming back and buying even if I'm not advertising? And I think that's really important. If you look at you've built a big brand online, especially within your region, and is expanding more and more globally. And if you think about that, that's huge. If you don't spend $1 on marketing, you're still going to have people following, listening to you, interacting with you. And that's a huge key advantage. Like if you think about some of the biggest brands, Nike, if you want shoes, athletic shoes, you'll think, all right, I'm just going to go buy Nike shoes. It's not because you see a Nike advertisement or you go on Google and you click on their ad. It's because you already know about Nike. And that's the power of branding that a lot of people take for granted.
Another thing I wanted to ask you regarding Instagram growth, you were talking about lives. Can you give us, like, I saw the YouTube video you did about like the 5 tips to grow your Instagram, but I've been noticing, I'm going to be very honest, I started off in finance, by the way, then I got into retail while I was in finance, and this whole Instagram entrepreneur influencer was such a coincidence. The growth of Instagram and the engagement rate is it's been very hard. Like you see people growing very fast, and that's actually bought, but this is very slow. And with the lives, with the answering the questions, with the interacting, with instant interaction, it's still not very fast. So give us some tips, because I feel like this is something that a lot of people that want to be authentic are struggling with. They don't see growth, and then the algorithms change and you don't show. It's like, to me, it's rocket science. It's like another world of, yeah.
So the first lesson for everyone is never buy followers, because if you buy followers, what happens with our algorithm is, let's say you have a 100,000 followers and you bought majority of them. Like let's say you bought 90,000 of them and 10,000 were real. Because your engagement rate is going to be so low from your followers, Instagram's going to be like, well, very few percentage of your followers are even engaging with you. So let's not even show your content to your followers that are real. So the first thing that people need to know, and I know that's not a tip, so I'll still give 5 tips, but the first thing everyone needs to know is never buy followers. It can just hurt you. So now diving into the tips, there's a few things. 1, go live, because live increases engagement. The more people that increase their engagement with you, the more people are going to see your content when you just post it. It's simple. Even I struggle to go live all the time. I'm not that social. And most of my customers are B2B, like large corporations. So even though they may use Instagram personally, my business isn't generated from Instagram, right? Like YouTube for me does exceptionally well. LinkedIn does exceptionally well, but like Instagram, most of my customers aren't on Instagram.
Yeah, it's mostly, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, exactly. And then the second tip that I have for you is tell people to become your close friends. So you can end up doing like a story or a post and telling people if they become a close friend, you're going to end up sending them exclusive content. So then you'll get way more close friends. And then from there, you can send them content. And the way I tell them is if they want to be a close friend is they got to be a close friend, like, you know, push the be a close friend. And then they got to post on their page how they are a close friend. So when they do those 2 things, it starts going viral and you'll get way more close friends. And then for those people, you start sending them exclusive content and they love it.
Another thing I want to ask you, do you offer these services in your firm? Like for like, you don't offer
No.
service, just corporation?
Yeah. Okay. And then the third thing that I would do is respond to every single comment. See, the number one thing that we found in Instagram's algorithm is the more comments and you get on a post or a video, the better off it does. It's not hearts or likes or any of that. And the reason being is anyone can watch a video, click a like button, but it's much harder to leave a comment. So if people leave a comment and then you respond to each one, it'll cause more comments, which causes the post to go more viral.
Okay, that's.
And then the fourth one I have for you is use tags, but don't just use the popular tags. So there's a lot of keyword research tools out there on the web. There's tons for free. I even have one called Uber Suggest that you can use for free. And you can just put in keywords and it'll tell you what's popular. But you don't want to use one-word tags. You want to use the more longer phrase, more relevant ones. That does really well. And then the last tip is go live with other people. See, by us going live together, I'm telling my audience about it, which helps you. You're telling your audience about it, which helps me. And that's a very simple thing to do. Think of this like as like a podcast interview, but on Instagram. So if you do these really often, you'll end up getting way more people following you and engaging with you.
I've been doing I've done like, I think 30 lives this past month and a half with COVID. And I realized I want to be another Oprah. I love the whole process. I really enjoy it. Another thing I want to ask you: did you start off as someone that wanted to be in the in marketing, or did you start off in a totally other field? Like, were you someone that knew what you wanted to do from the beginning of your career, or you just felt that that's yeah? Because I'm
Yeah,
just
so when I was a kid, I tried finding a job online. I couldn't find a job online, so I created my own job website, and it didn't do well. And one of the main reasons was no one came to it. So I learned how to do marketing. I got it popular, and then from there, I was just like, oh crap, you know, I love marketing, and that's how I got into it. And my first client was a power supply manufacturer. They'll provide like Boeing planes and stuff like that with their power supplies for the planes and the medical equipment. And they were paying me around $5,000 a month when I was 16 years old, uh,
that.
which was good
So
money back then. It's still good money right now. So 60 grand a year, but I was generating them around like 25 million in revenue.
that's amazing.
And that's when I realized the power of marketing, because the owner of that company, his son owned an ad agency. So he introduced me to a lot of other larger customers within the United States, and that's how my career started.
Why did you choose California, or
My parents, my parents lived here.
all your life?
No, I
What
was born in London.
Born in London. Okay, so you're happy to be. This is it's like they call California, like San Francisco, the Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah, California definitely, San Francisco is, but I'm in Los Angeles, which is far
I
away.
studied in San Francisco. I studied in Boston, actually. But I want to ask you if you think there's another Silicon Valley. Just a question. This is something I'm curious. Where do you think it would be? Which country?
So I think life is changing in which Silicon Valley will always be Silicon Valley because of access of capital, but things are changing. Look how much money is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, true.
The amount of money in tech companies from Saudi Arabia is ridiculously high. A lot of the tech companies, whether they know it or not, are actually getting their money from Saudi Arabia because
True.
either direct investment or a lot of the venture funds have taken money from Saudi Arabia. So indirectly, they've taken money from there.
True, true. You're very right. Yeah. So there's not really one specific location you feel that would be that true. Another thing I want to ask you, I just launched my website. I'm a small business. Like so many of us, we have small businesses. And of course, the first question is, I don't have a lot of money to market it. I don't have a lot of money to keep putting it on the top or like for my website to keep showing. Some brands that you have are not very high end or known. So the search will be very, even if you write the words of the brands that are known to be found in the search, some brands, like most of the websites that are out there, are not very familiar or known. How can you get your website to actually appear or be more visible without spending so much money? Because a lot of us, especially now with the situation, you don't want to spend so much money except on essentials. You have staff, and as a small company, personally, I'm just trying to keep afloat and not lay off people. So what advice would you give small companies that are marketing online during this time?
Sure. So the first piece of advice I have for companies who are marketing during this time is share your content on the social web. So whatever you have on your website, you may create content, a blog post, a podcast, a video. Share it on the social web, from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn. The search engines all see that it's being shared, and it actually helps get you more visibility.
Okay. On the
The
web.
second, yeah, and the second thing I would do is anytime you release content on your website, like a blog, you'll naturally link to people to cite your sources, to reference another company. Every time you link out to someone, email them, ask them to share your content, and let them know that you linked out to them. They'll gladly say, oh yeah, you linked out to me, you're giving us press? Sure, we'll share it, why not? So that's another quick way to get traffic.
Yeah.
The third thing is you want to put in the right keywords. See, Google and search engines are all about keywords, and people search so often, right? I think the stat is like 90 something or 93% of experiences start with a search. It's some ridiculously high number. So if you can include the right keywords within your page, you're going to be much better off. And a way you do this is you can use tools like Ubersuggest or Google Keyword Planner. Find keywords within your space. Like you can type in any website or any keyword, and it'll give you tons of other keyword ideas, or tell you all the keywords that your competitor may use, and it'll give you ideas of what type of content you should create. And if you do those little simple things to start off with, you'll be shocked at how much traffic you can get.
Okay. Someone is asking you how much sharing does it actually take to gain visibility? Resisting and spamming seems to come to a disadvantage to many people. Any advice?
So if you can get 50 to 100 shares, you're doing quite well. And the easiest way to get those is anytime you mention someone within your content. So if you mention 3, 4 people, ask them to share it, and it creates a viral effect where other people will start sharing it as well. And then when you share your own content on the social web, ask a question when you do the post. So you may link to your website, but also ask a question there because that creates more comments. And then you'll start seeing the content on the social web go viral because comments is the main metric that they're looking at.
You're getting a lot of interesting questions. How can we use SEO for affiliate marketing? I'm a blogger.
So let's say you're an affiliate marketer and you make money by promoting other products or services and you're just getting a commission every time someone buys. The way you would use SEO is you would do reviews. So let's say you want to review household items like dishwashers, ovens, toasters. You can do articles like the top 10 best dishwashers, the top 10 best toasters, the top 10 best vacuums. Funny enough, I just bought a vacuum literally 5 minutes before we started. And I Googled the top 10 best vacuums and I picked number 1. Funny enough, they also had an affiliate link,
Yeah.
but
But why
I
did
chose it.
you pick that vacuum?
What was the question?
Why did you pick that vacuum? Because it was number one, or because you checked the?
It was number 1. They sent me to Amazon and it had a lot of amazing reviews as well. And I bought it. It was like a Dyson vacuum that was handheld and light.
Interesting. I got a question that was really good here. It says, I don't know if we all have an answer for this, but how does Corona affect digital marketing, and how can we leverage this? Can one leverage this time?
Sure. So the way Corona affects digital marketing is more people are coming online. We have no choice. E-commerce is booming right now. It's ridiculous on how many people are buying through the web. So think of it this way. One of the biggest times of the year for e-commerce in the United States is Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And that's right after a holiday that we have here called Thanksgiving. And e-commerce, Shopify made a statement that every day, like during the coronavirus, was like Black Friday. It was that popular. So there's so many people that are buying online. If you go and create a presence online, it may take you 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get started. But once you do, you'll find that you can end up getting a lot of traffic and a lot of sales. You just have to be patient.
Someone is telling you write a book. You have.
I wrote one book. I don't want to write another one. It's too much work.
Yeah, I agree. And it's honestly, to be honest, like even if you make money with books, I feel you can make money a lot of more other things you're probably doing.
Correct. Like I got a good advance. It's not as lucrative as people had thought. So my first
Yeah.
book, me and my co-authors got $500,000 to write the book, split between 3 people. Then the agent takes 10%. Then the money's paid over like 2 years. And the amount of time and energy you had to spend promoting it, I actually lost money on it, believe it or not. So out of my share, I lost money.
I think as you reach a certain point of time, and if you're doing several businesses and you have several companies, you have to wait. Your time is money, so you put your time on something that actually is lucrative. Like for me now, when I get deals that are not worth my time, and I'm like, I'm not at an age or at a time in my career where I have to do things for free. So no, unless it's something I really believe in or it's something I really like, then it's different. Or it's something nonprofit or it's
Yep.
CS. Yeah, that's different. So tell us more. Tell us more. We want to hear. I don't know what to ask you anymore because you have so many questions. Yes, I have a question. They're calling this time a low-touch economy, less human interaction. It's a new term that's been used, low-touch economy. I've never heard this term before. What do you think of this, the low-touch economy?
I think that's spot on. There's social distancing. We're staying away from each other more. People are doing things more through virtual, Zoom, Skype, Instagram. This is the time where you have to show your personality and interact with people and learn how to do it virtually. And if you don't do that, I don't think you're going to do as well.
Do you think if you're not online in the next year or 2 years, you might not exist?
I think you'll still exist. You just won't be as big as you can. See, it believe it or not, I know this sounds crazy. Like we still have some clients at my ad agency who are worth like $30 billion with the B, not a M. And
Okay.
you won't even find an Instagram account, a YouTube account, or anything because they're just such old companies. And they're not going anywhere. And funny enough, they're still growing. So depending on the sector that you're in, you may not need to be like if someone's providing parts for oil pumps and gas stations and petroleum, being on Instagram doesn't really matter. It's just like whether oil prices go up or down, you're still making a killing, right?
True. I agree 100%. Another thing I want to ask you, do you think the influencing world is going to end or it will increase or it will become part of the norm of life?
Becoming part of the norm. It's booming right now.
A job, right? Because I used to hear 6 years ago when I used to sit with my friends, they'd be like, oh my God, this is something that's going to end in the next 3 years. It's going to be over. Max 5 years, max 7 years. So do you think this is going to, this to me is a side thing, but for some people, this is their main income. Do you think it will continue? Will it become like a job title, like lawyer, banker, doctor, influencer? Do you think in the near future, this could be an actual term as a job?
I think it will, and you'll see them as contractors, but like people will start paying these influencers for evangelism. Like they may get paid by Mercedes being like, we really want you to go around the world and represent Mercedes. Or they'll get paid to just promote products on a monthly basis. I think it is a huge aspect right now in life.
And why do you think so? Do you think it's the person is more relatable, or do you think it's cheaper than getting a superstar or a model? Why do you think this form of marketing has been working?
So think of it this way. I don't know, and I do apologize for this. I don't know like who the most famous Saudi celebrity is, but there must be tons of them.
By the way, I don't even know who's the most famous Saudi celebrity is. So it's okay. I watch more foreign movies than than Arabic movies.
All right, so let's say like Tom Cruise. Everyone knows Tom Cruise worldwide, right?
Yeah,
So you Tom Cruise, you end up paying him. If he endorses something, it's going to be better off just because he's Tom Cruise and people may love him around the world. But what is if you can have people within a specific sector? Like what if you're creating a business around social media and everyone already knows Twitter and Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, talks about you? That's going to do wonders because he has trust. And the reason I think influencers are more powerful than just paying celebrities is they're well known for a certain thing or a certain space. So if they're known for fashion and they're promoting you for fashion, you're better off. Or if they're known for automotive and they're promoting you for automotive, you're better off. So the key is to find people who are 100% relevant.
yeah, true. Question I wanted to ask you: how did you grow your company? It started off well. Did you not pass through rough times that you were worried that actually you were like in a tough situation during the like from the moment you started till now? Did you ever throw like how did you maintain it till today? Because you know we've been through several bad years in the past 10 years. So how did you manage that?
So I save my money. I don't spend a lot. And there's always tough times. Like even right now for us, this is a tough time because of COVID and we're in the marketing sector. But you know, over the years, you have your ups and downs. Entrepreneurship's like a roller coaster. And my mom's always taught me one thing, which is it's easier to save money than it is to spend it, or to make it, not spend it. It's actually easier to spend it than it is to save it. But my mom taught me that it's easier to save the money than it is to make it. So I always save for rainy days, and I assume they're going to be rainy days. Keep in mind, I've also been doing this for 18 years now. So after a while, you get the hang, you have the connections. Life isn't too bad.
You have the know-hows. Did you struggle right now with COVID? Did you have to lay off people? Did you minimize everybody, I think, right?
Yeah, and a lot of businesses did. We have 7 offices globally, so we definitely got impacted. In some regions, like Brazil, lost 70% of our revenue in 30 days. 70, and we have a ton of staff in Brazil. So it's not like we're a small business in Brazil. We have huge customers, huge clients, and they don't care. A lot of people don't care what the contract states. So it's like, we're not paying you anymore. So it's like, what do you end up doing, right? It's you just got to deal with that. And at the same time, you have to be understanding as well that other people are struggling too. So you have to adapt.
Do you ever get demotivated when these things happen? Like, or
it sucks. You know, I'll be honest. If I never say I don't get demotivated, that's a lie. It definitely sucks. The way I look at things in life is when things are going really well for you, keep in mind there's someone else who always has it better than you. And when things are going really bad for you, keep in mind there's others who are struggling much more than you. So that
True.
helps me stay very level, and that allows me to have a clear mind and just keep pushing forward. But in many cases, like I'll make sacrifices. Like even when the COVID stuff happened, we definitely did make layoffs, sadly, but we made less layoffs than we should have. And I didn't want to lay off as much as we needed to because people have families, they got bills to pay as well. So I rather myself get hit more financially than people struggling to take care of their parents and their family. So, you know, just because I've been doing this long enough, it allows me to take a few more licks and wounds because I do know over time we will get out of it.
Another thing I want to ask you, like a lot of people now start asking people that are in this business, where would you invest now? Which field would you invest in? Are you someone that is looking at new opportunities like to invest in right now, or you're just actually just taking it slow and taking it day by day? Because I do believe in such times, if you have cash flow, it's a good time for you to actually find opportunities if you have extra cash on the side, like buying land. It could be small businesses that are struggling for you to buy out. So it's not always negative for some people who actually have some extra cash that they want to buy, like save for a rainy day, for example, to look into other businesses. Are you looking into any other fields to get into or companies to acquire at this point?
I am. So we're always looking for companies to acquire. Funny enough, we reached out to around 8 or 9 in the last few months. Um, we, I am big in tech,
Yeah.
so I still do a lot of tech investments and angel investing. And I've done a handful of deals, you know, after COVID has happened. Funny enough, I just did one yesterday as well.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, always tech, not other fields. You always try like to invest in the certain in one field.
Yeah, I know people say you should diversify, but I understand tech.
Always tell you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Which honestly, now I'm giving you this advice because it's a good. It's nice to know what you're investing in, but at the same time, you need to a bit like not all. I'm not saying like 80%, like just a little bit here and there, like maybe certain other things. But if you know it well, and as you said, 18 years in it,
Yeah,
then maybe.
like all into tech. Other than, you know, actually, I'm almost all in tech.
Okay, tell us some.
Even stocks, even stocks, my stocks are tech stocks.
Oh my God. So you're like a tech nerd. Okay, I want to ask you, tell us more, give us advice for people that are struggling in businesses and their only way right now, they have to close their stores and their only way right now is to sell online. And for example, they had to lay off people, they had to close their stores, and their only way of income right now is this website they have to sell. So what is that you gave us so simple, give us a bit more. I want more info.
Sure. So create a Shopify website, pop it up. It's really easy, and add your products on there, and then run Google and Facebook ads. A lot of them will give you free credit because of COVID-19. They have grants that they're giving free money, so you can start with ads with very little risk and go out there and see how it performs. That's how it started. I know that sounds simple, but take
But how
advantage of grants and programs that are out there.
But like, you said it sounds so simple. Like, for example, the age group, the name. Give us some tips on these small things that you do. Like, for example, when you want to do an Instagram ad, it's the age group, the women, the men. You have to choose age group, women, men, interests. So how do you reach that demographic you think is yours? How do you know who's your demographic when this field is so huge? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. So I do a few things. The first thing that I end up doing is I only I first look at who are my past customers. Okay, so once you have your past customers, you may even have their email list. And that's usually the first thing I do, in which I upload that email list to Facebook, Instagram, and what they'll do, and even like Google, they'll tell me all the other people who are very similar to them and
Okay.
start those people to show ads. The second thing is if you've been doing business for a while, you know your customers, if they're a man, if they're a woman, if they're a child, what age range. So start targeting that demographic. The
Okay.
third thing know is what income they typically make. So if there's income fields in there, you can say, hey, my customer usually makes this. You also may know what cities they tend to live in. And if that's the case, you start with that as well. But out of everything that I've mentioned, the two biggest things that really make the difference is if you already have existing customers, upload their emails and tell them you want all the customers who are similar to these people because they'll know who they are. And then the second is change up your ads very often. So Facebook has an ad library that shows you what your competitors' ads look like, and what you'll want to do is start creating similar ads because the chances are those are the ones that are working.
Okay, very interesting. This is all on Facebook.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you can do the lookalike. A lookalike is you're uploading your email list and telling them, hey, show me all the other people who are very similar. You can also do that on Google and YouTube.
Okay, another thing, what about Snapchat? What do you think of Snapchat in general? It's dead, I know it's dead abroad, but it's dead, it's only visible, very visible here in the Middle East. How is it's in the States, it's not very existent, or?
It's still here, but Instagram is much more popular. So here's my advice for Snapchat. Okay, if you're going to do Snapchat, there's stories on Snapchat. You can end up, when you're doing an ad on Snapchat, and this is one of the easiest ways to generate sales that most people don't know about. Within your ad, have people swipe through your stories, and your story is your sales pitch. So most people will do an ad and you send someone from the ad to your website, and then on your website, you tell them and you sell them on why they should buy from you. What I'm saying is don't send them to your website at first. Put your website copy and your messaging and your sales material in a story, and they just keep swiping, and you're selling them through the story. And then if they're ready to buy, they swipe up and they go to your website.
Very interesting. I never did this. To me, this is all very new. I'm still, I told you, old school. Because, you know, in Saudi, we have a lot of still standalone, a standalone store, the sales, we do exhibitions. I do a lot of pop-ups. I remember like this summer I was in London and a friend of mine was telling me I have a beauty salon, but how can I get more traffic? I've done this, I've done this. So everybody's like, as you said, it's easier said than done, because still it's, when you're not a professional marketer, it's really hard to still get there. I think it needs really consistency as well.
Yep.
I have one.
It takes a while too. You got to write. It's consistency and doing it for over 6 months. Like, look at your brand. You've built it up. How long did it take you to get to where you are right now?
To be honest, I think 3 years, and I never thought of myself as a brand. Till today, I'm an entrepreneur. So when they called me influencer, I used to get upset because I used to feel that I have so much under my belt to be called an influencer, because the majority never had, like here, never really had a job. So I used to take it very offensively, because I felt I was a lot more than just an influencer. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm my age, I'm 37. So the majority of influencers in Saudi were much younger. I feel my content was much different. I always thought I was like, I know everybody says that, like, you know, everybody thinks they're different, but I do feel I'm different because of my work, the work experience I've had. So I took it in a negative way. And then I was like, you know what? Why are you taking it in a negative way? You have a good platform. You're an entrepreneur and you also influence. So when I started taking it to the way I stopped trying to get the highest numbers and do the things that everybody was doing, because that wasn't me. I'm not going to do a makeup tutorial. It's just not my personality. I think it's, for me, it's silly. If I did it, I'd laugh at myself. So I started doing things that I really enjoy. Like I come from a banking background. I did private
What
banking.
study?
I studied,
Economics?
funnily, I studied marketing and PR in Simmons College in Boston. And I did my master's in management. And I worked in finance all my life. And then I worked in retail. So I've never really worked in marketing. I just studied it. But I'm good in PR. I'm good with people. So that's why I did well in banking. But I really never liked it. And when I got married, my pictures went viral. And I said any publicity is good publicity. So I use it as a way to push sales in my store. And I was already known in Saudi that I have my stores. And I used it as a way. My sales went up 35% the first month.
What? Just from your wedding pictures?
And I started putting other pictures, and then I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what influencing was or Instagram was. So I was like, you know what? Let me start talking about women empowerment in Saudi and promoting women's businesses. So what I did was I would go to all the girls here in Saudi and talk about their businesses. My Snapchat views and Instagram views were very low. I don't think people were very interested about hearing a success story. It was too long, and on the story, it was just not exciting. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Then I met a company in Dubai, and they told me, you know, Neda, your pictures are a disaster. You need to take professional pictures. Your Instagram is your profile. And I was like, my profile? I have to hire photographers? Why would I do that? Like, why would I spend money? You know, it never hit me. And then I realized after a while, after fixing my pictures and creating like a, how can you say, like a profile that
Yeah.
fits. I started getting approached by brands. And then I started realizing, you know what, I'm going to be more me every time. So I started doing, like, now recently, I work out. So I started doing workout videos because that's me. I would go to my friend, I'd post a workout video. This is what I enjoy. I like skincare. I'll do skincare, but I only am doing what I like. I'm staying true to myself. I'm being me, and I will never change me just to get more following. And I feel the more authentic you are, the more you grow. Or maybe you
You got to be yourself. You can't be someone else. And that is the key to doing well on social media.
when I see myself still at 307, and then this other person is like at 350, and they're like, yeah, but she's growing so fast. And like the agencies don't look really at like how like they look at numbers still, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Especially here.
they still look at numbers.
Yeah, they're not really looking deeper, you know. So that's another thing that does bother, because you feel like you need to be growing as fast. But like at this point, it's not my main job. This is what I always say: an influencer, this should not be her main job. It should be a side job until it becomes a full-time income for you. Another thing I want to ask you, I know I took a lot of your time. So will you be visiting us in Saudi soon? When COVID,
One day, I don't know where to go there, but yes, one day.
and I know a lot of us would love to meet you. So I would love to be your host here. So I'm serious. This is not a joke. And I want you to come visit. I think it's you need to come to a place called Al Ula. I don't know if you've seen Al Ula online.
I haven't.
Check my IGTV. You'll find a trip to Al Ula, which is a 1 hour from here by plane. You need to come to our part of the world. I feel like everybody talks about Middle East as Dubai, but Dubai
Yeah,
is not Saudi. Like Saudi is like, first of all, Dubai, the Emiratis are 2 million. We're 33. We have so many cities, so many regions. I really think you should come to our part of the world and explore it more. Not Brazil. Come here.
I've been to Brazil. I've been to, and as for Middle East, I've been to Jordan, UAE, Egypt. Although Egypt, I don't think is considered Middle East. That's more in Africa, but
Similar still, yeah.
yeah. So I've been around there. But yeah, no, I've always wanted to come to Saudi. I just haven't had the opportunity, but would love to. And I know it's changing very rapidly too. And I like how you're doing women empowerment.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, women can now drive in Saudi Arabia, right?
Like my son was born actually a day after women started driving, so it's unforgettable. The women started driving in Saudi, I think, on the 25th of June, 2018. So it's just been like almost a year, 2 years.
Yep.
It's so much is happening. It's an exciting time for us. We had the biggest festival last year, even bigger than Coachella here.
That's cool.
Yeah, and do you like to travel in general or not really?
Yeah, usually before COVID-19, I was going international twice a month on average.
Fun. Yeah. So is
So I
it
was going everywhere.
nice being home now, or?
It is nice being home, although I'm in Los Angeles, so there is no backyard in my house. Like, there's a backyard in this pool, but it's tiny. Like, where I live in Hollywood, there's no land.
Yeah,
Technically, there is if you spend $30 million on a home, but for normal people, you don't have much of land.
you know, my favorite area in Los Angeles is Santa Monica, to be honest. I like that area. I don't know how the prices are there, but it's beautiful there. I think you have more space there, or no?
Uh, Depending where you are in Santa Monica, yeah, you can have more space. Where I'm in Hollywood, there's not much space because I'm close to all the shopping, and
Yeah, I know that.
lit- and
Dale.
I'm yeah, and I'm literally right next to Beverly Hills.
Okay, that's
So like
good.
I could walk to Beverly Hills.
That's nice. I used to say I'm more of an East Coaster. Like I prefer New York and Boston, but I've been to LA more than like 15 times. I like it, but I just can't handle the commute, the distances, and that everything is far and by car. But it has a nice, joyful thing to it. Like, you know, most Saudis actually summer in LA all the time. They really like Los Angeles, as you know.
Yeah, a lot of them own homes in Beverly Hills.
So many people are saying you have to come to Saudi, you have to come to Saudi, Neil. Anyways, well, I'm sorry it took a lot of your time, and thank you.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Another thing, if somebody wants to, for example, get more advice from you, so they just subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Yeah. And youtube.com/Neil Patel. I give tons of free advice every single day on YouTube.
And what about businesses? Like, for example, if a business wants to seek marketing advice, for example, for here in Saudi Arabia, can you do that, or you just, or what?
Not yet. We don't have the staff for Arabic content and Arabic marketing, but eventually we will get there within a year. That's what I was saying. We're trying to open up somewhere in the Middle East. We weren't sure. A lot of people are pitching us either on the UAE or Egypt, and we never really decided where.
I think UAE is better for you, to be honest, because it's easier for you to come to all the much faster. But I would love to see if you come to the UAE or Saudi. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, if I come to LA, I'll definitely set up a meeting with you.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
اوكي جايز ان شاء الله عجبكم اللايف مع نيل باتيل. الرجال هذا موسوعه من المعلومات. اتمنى اذا حابين، ايش اتمنى، على هيز اكاونت في يوتيوب في كل النصائح اللي يقدمها من ناحيه how to market online. كل الاشياء هذه اللي كان بيقولها اليوم طبعا بدقه اكثر، لانه عنده حلقات، عرفتوا كيف؟ فالحلقات هذه جدا مفيده وهيديكم ادفايس اكثر. انا اليوم استضفته لانه كندا شخصيا كثير احس انه انا كندا استفدت منه. ثانكس سالم مود. وكثير مننا اصلا بيعاني من هذه كيف افتح ويب سايت، فتحت ويب سايت، طب كيف اسوق للويب سايت. we're all struggling انه basically انه how to get our website to show, our Instagram to grow. سواء كنا شركه او انفلونسر او اي شيء من دي الاشياء، وطريقه التسويق الصحيحه، ودفعت كثير ولا ما دفعت كثير، هل ادفع كم المبالغ اللي لازم ادفعها، لانه طبعا عملت اد ما جاني اي شيء من وراها. فهذه هي المشكله اللي بنواجهها، لانه ما عارفين اي جهه او طريق ناخذ. يعني حتى هو قاعد يقول اليوم اعملوا لايفز، اعملوا كذا، engage with your هذا، بس احيانا انا احس انه مثلا حتى لما بعمل دي الاشياء ما بطلع كثير، فمثلا خلينا نحاول نعملها بconsistency. So basically اتمنى استفدتوا من هذه المعلومات. دائما انا اقول حتى لو مثلا your brand identity has to be برضو related to you، فخلوا دائما يكون عندكم البراند ايدنتيتي حقتكم ليها دخل ب what you really want into the image of you or what you see in the long term. يعني حتى لو جبتوا شركه تعمل لكم your brand identity، حاولوا دائما انتم يكون عندكم your feel, your touch, your belief. Don't let someone come and wipe your ideas. لانه at heart and في قلبك تعرفي ايش تبغي انت وايش تحتاجي. I'm sorry. I'm going to speak in English again because I started in English. I got a lot of people that left because I was speaking in Arabic. So basically, I'm saying that when you have a brand, you should always stick to what you really want your brand to be and what your initial voice was. Because sometimes you get somebody that comes and changes your whole marketing and brand, and it just really deviates from what you started with. So always make sure you have your touch, your feel. And I always believe that when you stand on your job and you know what you're doing and you have this involvement in your business, that's when you grow. So anyways, that's it. Yes, I know I'm speaking in English right now. I apologize. I'm going to do more lives in English after this. And I hope you liked the live anyways. And thank you so much for joining. I am my marketing agency at the moment. Honestly, I don't have a marketing agency. That's why we have some questions here. Let me see. Okay. I'm just checking some of the questions. Okay, so that's about it. Anyways, take care. I hope you're well and have a nice evening. Personal branding is very important, exactly. Oui, vraiment, je posais des bonnes questions parce que c'est nécessaire. Another French person. I will keep this IGTV. It's going to be saved in the preview on my page. And after that, it's going to go to my IGTV, which we're going to have all my IGTVs in that, what do they call it? In that field. So I hope you liked my live. Thank you again. We have another live coming up soon. I'll tell you more about it. Bye. Mimi, you have to listen to this live. It's going to be on my page. You have بالذات انت, you have to listen to this because Mimi is an influencer and a yoga teacher, and she's amazing. So Mimi, I'm going to save it on my page, and you have to listen to everything because it was really, really something informative for everybody in the business field or the influencing field, or basically anybody that wants to market. There were many answers here. And of course, if you want to take this further, check Neil Patel's YouTube videos that has all the advice you can get. Good night, everyone. Bye.